Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we got some really cool news, some really fun news about crossover breakers, which is a little bit, it's not all the way of what everybody's been asking for years, but it is a step in the right direction of what we've been asking about in terms of something that the OCG has gotten for as long as most of us TCG players can remember, that we've always hoped would be the case. TCG Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a super high price point, and this might actually help a little bit. So with Crossover Breakers, the new deck build pack, it has 3 new archetypes, and I think all 3 have competitive viability written all over them. Some more than others out the gate, but I think they all have potential, and I don't think that's really that arguable. Now, the big change that's actually coming here is this. The set breakdown in terms of the rarities for everything has been slightly altered. So this paragraph here is what we need. Crossover Breakers contains 10 ultra rares, 10 super rares, and 40 standard rares. But in a new twist, half of the standard rares can also be pulled as super rares in the same set. In addition, 15 cards can be found as collector rare and several as quarter century secret rares as well. All cool stuff, all good information there. The big thing to focus on here is 2 things. Firstly, in the past, with the most recent deck build packs, the set breakdown, where is that? I have that here, right? Isn't that in here somewhere? Oh, there we go. So the set breakdown used to be 10 ultra rares, 15 super rares, and 35 rares. So we're actually losing 10 guaranteed super rares, moving them to the regular rare slot. But keep in mind, 20 of those 40 regular rares are also findable as super. So you're basically increasing the amount of the super rare pool. That may make certain supers a little bit harder to find, but if they're also rares, finding the card period actually should become a little bit easier, which is kind of nice. And I think that has a chance to actually lower the price a little bit, at least, on some of these archetypes. Now, I've already made a video talking about how I think this is probably the best deck build pack we've gotten in years, especially on at least on release, just because a lot of times, especially in the last couple of years with deck build packs, when we get a new one, it's like one archetype seems really good out the gate, clearly, right? Like Vanquish Soul, clearly the best one from that deck build pack. Then the most recent one, Centurion, dominating that. Those ones become super expensive because they're clearly the best by a mile. And so Konami, knowing that, especially going back to the Valiant Smashers, prints half of the ultra rares as Centurion, knowing full well that they're the most desirable archetype in the set by far. But I think knowing that this is a deck build pack where all 3 archetypes have legit merit and any given competitive player could be interested in any of the 3 and it'd be totally justifiable, I think it makes no sense for them to go that path. So last set, when they did out of the 10 ultra rares, right? We're talking about 3 archetypes, right? So it should theoretically be like 3-3-4. We saw 5 Centurion, 3 Memento, and 2 Valmonica. And then because there were only 2 Valmonica ultra rares, they ended up with 8 different secret rares, whereas the other 2 had 4 and 3 respectively. So I just want to see way more balance, right? When you see a Centurion core that's like $300 just for the core itself, nothing else, and you see the Vanquish Soul core and it's $300 for just the core, nothing else, it really can suck the fun out of that deck build pack. But if all 3 are legitimately viable and they split it up in some way where it's like Malice maybe gets 4 ultra rares, Raziel gets 3 ultra rares, and Ryuge, the new dragon archetype, gets like 3 of their own, and it's way more balanced. It's never going to be perfectly balanced, but can we get it to like 40% Malice, 30% Raziel, 30% Ryuge, and it's like pretty dang close, and then they're all 100 to maybe 150 for a core. That's so much more doable, and I think you'll find way more players willing to invest in a set like this, but also these archetypes in general, because there's been a price barrier behind Centurion and Vanquish Soul. Even if you wanted to play them, even if they were the archetype you wanted, I'm sure there's a lot of players that just weren't willing to take the $300 plunge for one deck, right? So I think this is headed in the right direction. Not only that, but even on the lower end, like for some of the supers can be worth a couple bucks, but if they also have that rare printing, makes them a little bit easier to get your hands on. And that's something that we've been looking for in the TCG for a long time, is the way that the OCG will print sets where you can basically get almost any card you want in like any rarity in any given set, and then you could just price hunt. If you're okay playing a low rarity version of the deck, you can pay a severely lower price than somebody wants to have max rarity. I think it makes so much more sense to have that option available. You'll have players who want to only collector's rare and, you know what I mean, play the highest rarity version of what the entire deck, but you'll also have players who just want to be able to play the deck, period, and you are gatekeeping them from, one, buying your set at all. You're just phasing them out completely, and maybe even out of the game in some cases. So I think this is a good step in the right direction. It's not all the way there, and I think that's also something to like be very mindful of here, that until they decide to do the exact same thing with the ultra rares as well, because that's where the most price heavy cards are going to be, are the ultra rares. So until they say every ultra rare can also be found as a super rare in the set, a little more available, maybe even rares too, that's when we'll be all the way there in a way where like any deck can truly be budget, but it can also be really high rarity too and still hold value in the set. I think that's the sweet spot, is finding a spot where like we can still find a middle ground for even the super high rarity cards, or the most high rarity cards in the set, like the ultra rares are. Aside from like obviously like the really crazy pulls like the collector's rares and stuff. But either way, really cool step in the right direction. I already think this is going to be a great deck build pack. I think we're looking towards, like, we're looking down the timeline here, and it's feeling like Konami's could drop a ban list here that really evens the playing field for the format going forward, right? And kind of leaves the gate wide open. And then in a couple months, this set comes out in the TCG, and then we're looking at 3 new archetypes that all have potential and all could be legit players in that competitive format, making this set really desirable, but hopefully balanced enough between the archetypes where nothing's crazy gatekeeping people from the decks they want to play, and going from there. Other than that, a small name changes as well. The new dragon archetype goes by Ryuge here. Sure, I'd seen the name change multiple times. Malice is changed from like M-A-L-I-C-E to M-A-L-I-S-S. It's going to be pronounced the same, just looks a little different. And then Rizeal is not Rizeal anymore, it's Rizeal. So you'll just have to adjust the way you say that just slightly. And then the last thing, I guess, is the date, because this is actually the TCG announcement. So the date is actually super early December. So we're a ways away here. I mean, we're almost 3.5 months away from this actually coming out to us. So we could even be a place where if we get the ban list next week, 3 months down the line, we may be getting another ban list before this set actually drops. So even priming this set even more so to kind of walk right in and be a legit, couple decks that really have a chance to affect the format, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited. I really am excited to play Rizeal and mess around a little bit with Malice as well. I know there's a lot of players excited about this deck build pack already, and I think this is good news. I think this is setting up this set to be even just a little bit better. I think they can go a little bit further in the future, but baby steps, we will take the positive direction, and hopefully it continues. But I'm out of here for today. Just a small little discussion on where Crossover Breakers is headed, and very excited for it. So let me know your thoughts down below on any of this stuff down below, the new rarity breakdown, the archetypes as a whole, how you think this set will be received. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in general on this going forward. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.